Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for our online best practices, or online enrollment best practices. So Scribbles software has been working with school districts all over the country, as many of you know, with online enrollment. So we've had several ideas and points of interest that have come to light, and we wanted to share those with you. So let's start today with some introductions. I'm Bridget, and I am a family engagement expert, and I'd like to introduce you to Tom Austin. Tom is our Scribble software expert.
Hello, everybody.
All right, the next slide. In the short time we have today, we'd like to share the following best practices with you and how you can use them in your own school district. We are going to touch on why most school districts are moving to online enrollment, how our family dashboard keeps everyone connected, the importance of approved data, as well as how online enrollment provides continuous, meaningful engagement with families. Next slide. So as many of you know, gearing up for enrollment is an exciting time of the school year. And for many families, this is going to be the first time they're going to be introduced to your school. So online enrollment really shows families and the community that you're meeting them where they're at. If you'll notice throughout our presentation, we'll have some interesting stats at the bottom of the screen. And it's going to just show how important online enrollment really is to families. So districts have recognized that the amount of paperwork involved in enrollment has increased, and managing all that paperwork as well as being able to make a decision based off the answers from that paperwork can be really challenging. So we definitely feel that online enrollment helps with those challenges. And finally, online enrollment offers a way to be in communication with families. Did you know that the best predictor of student success is when families involve themselves in their child's education? We've developed our software because we understand this to be a fact. And today we're going to show you how it opens the door to your family and school partnership. Tom is now going to go into some of these details. Tom, are you ready?
Sure, absolutely.
Great.
Bridget and I had talked a little bit about how we were going to do this presentation. So part of it is we have a lot of folks that signed up that are going to be here that have never seen enrollment, our enrollment product. So what we want to do is a fairly quick breeze through, kind of review what our online enrollment product is and how it does engage families. So when we look at the first step for our families, the first step for our families is they're going to come in and they're going to create a family dashboard. Now, the concept of our family dashboard is that the whole family resides there. So all of the children from the family all are within that family dashboard. And then their interactions with the district also occur within that same family dashboard. So not only if they're doing enrollments, but also if they're doing any type of transfers or they're doing any type of lottery or choice programs or anything like that, it's all going to reside within the family dashboard. And that's where they're going to be able to reach out and complete these applications so that they can take care of their children's educational needs. So one of the advantages of the software and in our applications is that they can be translated into 109 different languages. So if someone, for example, speaks Punjabi and that's their home language, they can actually translate everything into Punjabi and they'll be able to complete the application. Next slide, please. In this example here, when we look here, this is where we have a family dashboard. And in the lower left-hand corner, you can see that we have Pebbles Flintstone as one of the students. And Pebbles is going to, Pebbles is a student and mom and dad are going to submit an application for Pebbles to start for their enrollment. In that, you can all, whoop, that's okay. So right here, they would fill in, okay.
So sorry, is this one all right?
Are we good? Okay.
Is this one okay?
Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. So you would, in here, they would fill in the questions. So all of our questions are configurable. So we basically take whatever your registration and enrollment packet is or process, and then we put that into an electronic form so that the parent can then complete that electronically and we can create all kinds of different questions, whether you want fill in, select, multi-select, essay. We also can nest questions inside of questions. We can nest questions inside of nested questions. So we're able to build this out for the family to make it very user-friendly, but also be able to replicate your current process.
And Tom, when you say a nested question within a nested question, you mean if the question is yes, no, they pick yes, then it's going to go to a separate sequence of questions. If they say no, then let them go on.
Correct. And when and if there can be a question that's also asked as a follow-up. For example, they say yes to this question, it opens up another question. And then if they say yes to that question, it opens up another set of questions. So we're able to cascade that down so that the family's only seeing those questions that are relevant to them.
Great.
So next slide, please. So once they complete the application, then it shows up on their family dashboard and they're able to see the documents that they need to upload. The family can then, they can also see any forms that they need to complete. So when we're looking at our connection forms, they'll be able to access any of those forms that they need to complete, and as well as a Scrib Engage session, which is a video session. If they need to engage in a video session with the school district, they can also do it from here as well. So it's all done within their family dashboard. When they do upload documents, next slide, please. They're able to do it here, and this is where they upload documents. You can see on the right-hand side, it actually will detect if it's a mobile device, and it is a camera on the mobile device by that little button that says camera phone. So it can sit there and they can go, that will open up the camera on their phone, and then they can take the pictures from there. That way they can upload through their mobile device. Most of our parents actually do complete these applications on mobile devices. Next slide, please. On the back end, you're able to view the student data and the student information. So from a user perspective, they get the application, they can review it. They can either approve or deny it. They can also request additional information. Part of our request additional information also enables you to, it will reach out to the parent every single day and let them know that they have documents that they need to upload. So the parent is constantly aware that, yes, I have to upload these things, and it's hard for them to forget. From here, you can also adjust any information that may be needed. So if they perchance put the wrong birth date, you can go in and correct that birth date for them. Next slide. Down here is a workflow. So basically we can come in here and select what the parent has completed. We can create any kind of checkbox or checkbox process you guys want. So any process that you want to do and check off to say, yes, I've done this, yes, I've done that, you can make that process right there. And then down at the bottom are where you can see the documents that have been uploaded. Next slide. Okay, so next, before I go into this next part, I'm going to kind of talk about how a new section within our software that came out in the last couple of months and how we're using that to engage with families. But I wanted to tell you guys a couple things. I had a school district email me yesterday, and the question that they asked was, what do we do when a parent doesn't have an email address? And so I actually reached out to Bridget and said, wow, Bridget, what do you think about this? And we basically what it is for us is we see this as a opportunity for the school district to reach out to the parent. The bottom line is, in the way today is, in today's world, you have to have an email address. And so one of the things, I got into a discussion with a client this morning, and it's, imagine if you're a parent that doesn't have an email address and doesn't have technology, any at all familiarity with technology, and all of a sudden COVID happens and you've got to take care of your kindergartner or first grader and get them engaged in online school. So they're left at a disadvantage. So part of what we can do as an opportunity, if they don't have an email address, is the school district can engage them and introduce them to this technology so that it won't be as intimidating to them. So yes, you do. Some people don't have email addresses, and the bottom line is that especially now, they need an email address in order to be able to do certain things. So it gives the opportunity for the school district to decrease that trepidation and that fear and assist them that way. The other thing that we do, you want to say something, Bridget? Go on.
Yeah, I think when you said that to me too, we use the term parent, and we know that a lot of parents are not necessarily the ones raising kids right now. It's family members, it's grandparents, it's aunts, uncles. Everybody's at a different range of technological ability. So being able to reach out and say, oh, you don't have an email address, that really kind of gives you a step in the door for opening the conversation to tell me a little bit more about your family situation, and then you can understand the resources that they do have or they need.
The second thing that came up this morning, this was New Hanover County, by the way, shout out to them. What they're doing as part of meeting parents in the community, or in the community and meeting them where they're at, they're going to be doing a drive-through enrollment. So they're going to have set it up in the city. They're going to have iPads, and they're going to have volunteers, and they're doing it on a Saturday where parents can drive up and then they can get assistance completing their online enrollment all within their vehicles, and I assume walk up as well if they were to be able to do that. But it's another way of being able to meet the parents where they are, and again, utilize it as a tool to engage with the parent. So I'm going to share my screen, if you can. So I'm going to come into this new part right here. So some of you have probably gone in here and explored and poked around. So I'm going to kind of talk about it. So here is where, for you as a user, for somebody as a user side, you may have a parent that calls in and says, hey, I completed Johnny's application and, I need to know what's going on. You can actually go in, and instead of searching for the application itself, you can now search for Johnny. And we can search for Johnny in different ways. We can search by a school, right? So obviously, if you're assigned to a school, you're only going to see the kids in your school. But for those of you that work in Central, you're going to see all of the school's kids. You can do it by parent email. So if you know the parent's family dashboard email account, you can search that way as well. And as well as the student first and last name or the student ID. So I'm going to look for Bam Bam. And as many of you know who know me, that Bam Bam and Rubble, Bam Bam and the Flintstones are my go-to when it comes to any kind of demo. So we're going to go to Bam Bam, and we can see Bam Bam's information here. And we're going to click on this little eyeball right here. And when I click on this eyeball, I'm beginning to see certain things. I'm going to come to this engagement part in just a moment. I can see here where all the applications are that have been completed for Bam Bam. So if he's done any choice applications, transfers, enrollments, anything like that, I'm going to be able to see him by clicking on this applications packet. Okay. The other thing I'm going to be able to see up here is his own school, his school, current grade, date of birth, and the guardian information as well. I can also change that information if necessary. Okay. The other piece that we have as part of our new, this is part of our Connection Forms product, is we have the ability to send documents back to the parent. So an excellent example is a parent comes in and they have a form that needs to be completed by the school. Okay. The school can go on ahead and complete that form, and then they can navigate to it and then send that form back to the parent on their family dashboard. The parent will get a notification telling them that they have a document to download, and then the parent can go onto their family dashboard and actually download the document. Okay. Different people are using this in different ways. I've got one district that's using it, or one district that's going to be using it for their pre-K. They're going to be sending pre-K letters back this way to the parents. I've got other districts that are using it exactly as I said for any kind of specialty documents that are specific to a student. Then they're able to actually send those to the parents. So instead of sending stuff home, they just send it electronically to the parent on the family dashboard. Whether that can be a disciplinary issue or attendance or anything like that, that communication can occur within the family dashboard and they can send it back. Not only that, we have a work history, and this history tells me everything that's happened. But one of the things it also does is if I take that document and I send it to the parent, I can see where I uploaded it, and then I can see when the parent viewed the document. So I know when the parent downloaded the document and when they viewed it. So you can never really have the I didn't get it, because it's always going to be on their family dashboard. And also you're going to have documentation that yes, indeed, they did receive it. Okay, but the addition for the family is they're going to get a reminder every day that, hey, you've got a document to download until they go and download it. So again, the parent's going to be able to have that reminder to them to go look and see. When we're talking about connection forms, this is where you can access these connection forms. The blue would be forms that are completed. The black are forms that are not completed. So one district we have is Cabarrus County Schools, shout out. And they have every quarter, they do a COVID questionnaire that they send out to their kids, to their families. And the families complete a COVID questionnaire for each of their students. This enables them to be able to communicate the COVID policy as well as to gather that data, because each one of these forms is data, okay? And then the other thing that we can do is we can send a form that needs to be completed to the family member. So I can always come here and click this send to parent button, and it will take that form and send that form to the parent on the family dashboard. The parent will get notifications along with daily notifications telling them that they need to go complete the form, and then they can go complete it. An example of this would be, say, mom and dad call and say that, hey, Jenny needs to be able to take ibuprofen. Well, then the nurse can go in and say, okay, well, I'm going to send this form. And we send the form to the parent for the parent to download or for the parent to complete, and then they can submit the form electronically back to the school. So then they actually get that form. So instead of handing a form to the child and the child goes to mom and dad, and then maybe you get the form back or it ends up in the bottom of a book bag somewhere, you're able to actually maintain that communication with the family by sending that form to the family and their family dashboard. And I think we've got 2 minutes, Bridget. I wanted to see if we had any questions.
Yes, we do have a couple minutes. If anybody does have a question, you can type it in the chat box, or you can definitely ask us after the webinar as well. I don't see any questions, Tom, or I'm
okay.
looking at it correctly either.
Okay, well then the last point I'm going to make, since we don't have any questions, is this is also where our online cumulative folder is going to live. It's our student vault, and that's going to be coming out this year, which will enable you to be able to, we'll be able to export docs into there. We'll be able to scan documents in, individual documents for the school, for the student, as well as group documents for all students, and then they can go in. So it becomes a repository. So instead of having your cumulative folder, everything would reside electronically within the system. And since the system already has the forms, applications, the applications, uploaded files, and then you would have any documents that you would have as far as for this that were collected throughout the school year. Can you push out forms to an entire school by grade level? Yes, you can. You can, the whole point of our forms is to be able to push them out by grade level. We can push them out by grade level. We can push them out whether they're new students to the district or renewing students to the district. We can push them out that where they complete an enrollment, they get the forms, or if they complete an annual renewal, they get the forms. So yes, we can push them out to all of the students. And even if a family member were to say, just do their family dashboard, when they create the family dashboard and they create the student, if we've set the parameters in, they'll automatically get those forms when they create that student. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that was a question that a panelist had asked for anybody else watching. Tom, is there anything else that you wanted to add before we close here?
No, I think that did it. I think we covered the highs that we were going to try to cover today in our little 20 minutes.
I know there's a lot more to get into, but that was a good overview of what it does and why online enrollment is very important. So thank you, Tom, very much.
Thank you.
We know that you are very busy, and we really appreciate the time that you took to be with us today. A key takeaway for today is that you can use online enrollment to your benefit in order to manage and simplify, and most importantly, as a communication tool for your families. So we'd be happy to talk with you and your team in more detail if you'd like, because there is definitely a lot more to say about it. As Tom mentioned, a big shout out to New Hanover Schools for their drive-in enrollment event. If you have a unique way of reaching families during this remote time, please let us know. Our clients, you all are our partners, and we have this very large network of educators, and we want to celebrate in all your successes and share what's working. So as we end today, we want to let you know that we've recorded all of this session, and we will add it to our YouTube channel. You'll get a link to the YouTube channel following this webinar. Thank you for your time, and we hope that you learned some great tips, and please know that we're here to help and support. And thanks again. Take care.